Friday, November 10th. Time to get locked in. Jeff from Lock and Cash here with my man Bruce. Bruce, how's your week been going so far, man?
Fantastic. We're ready to get a couple of revenge spots this weekend
Hey, that's what I
in
like to hear.
NFL, UFC. So I'm
Yeah,
excited.
absolutely. Did you get a chance to watch the amazing Thursday night football game, Panthers-Bears, last night?
Yeah, for I don't know how many quarters we just had a punt return touchdown. That was fantastic to watch. I was
Yeah,
fucking
that that was
got to bed
basically the
early.
only
So
touchdown. Yeah.
yeah, little what's it? Fucking Bilbo Baggins over there trying to drop dimes. Badgent.
Oh, Tyson Badger. Yeah. Yeah, it didn't work out. I mean, the game was good for us because we had the under, so we hit another Thursday night football bet, two in a row. But yeah, that was I feel
Stinker.
and I feel bad for Bryce Young too because like I feel like a lot of the stuff they do is just does not put him in a good position at all. Like the play calling, like there was a drive where they started like inside their own 10 and they just ran three straight passing plays and each one felt like it was going to be a pick six like at any second. I'm like, just run the football, give him some room, like
Yeah, I mean, listen, their running game has been super disappointing all year with Miles Sanders, but
yeah.
like if you really look at it, how many coaches are really great at coaching and drawing up plays for short quarterbacks? Like,
That's a good point. Yeah.
how many have you seen that were like, yeah, this is an awesome scheme for somebody who's like my height, who's like 5'9" on a good day,
Yeah.
right?
True.
There's almost like a natural problem there with being able to look over the line
Yeah.
and see downfield
Yeah.
over dudes that are like Miles Garrett.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah, probably should have taken that into
really,
consideration before, during the draft, but didn't
I'm
happen.
pretty sure the combine has measurements. I'm pretty sure the combine does height and weight, like at minimum.
They're like, whatever. Drew
So
Brees did it, so he can do it.
yeah, Kyler Murray.
Yeah, Kyler Murray's
He's
pretty
never
good.
been a problem. Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, so that was a good win for us last night, even though it was a boring game. And this week's NFL slate is kind of but there's some good spots. College football has some pretty big games, and obviously it's a pay-per-view week. UFC 295. I know you're hyped about that. So
Woo! Yeah, especially because we did pretty horrible last week. So we're definitely looking for a revenge spot here. We have a couple of fighters that we cap really well. So definitely looking forward to that. Man, and I need to buck the curse. The last time we were on air, I gave two fights and neither of them happened.
I know.
Like one got scratched Friday night and then one got scratched during the event on Saturday. So what I gave you guys didn't even occur, let alone have an outcome. So,
It's crazy. Yeah, it's definitely one of the harder sports to talk about like in advance because there's so many variables. Like, it's different if I want to talk about, Seahawks Commanders. I know that game's happening no matter who's out. Like it's happening no matter what. But that's not the case with combat.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to talk about both of the main event and the co-main event today. So if it doesn't happen, we're all in for a shitty Saturday anyway.
The whole card's ruined.
I'm going high stakes. I'm going high stakes on this one.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But let's talk about football first.
Yeah. Well, speaking of high stakes,
what's your slate looking like this weekend?
I mean, speaking of this, is my segue. Speaking of high stakes, huge college football game this weekend with Michigan and Penn State. And like everybody kind of understands that the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry is probably the biggest rivalry. Well, definitely the biggest rivalry in college football, one of the biggest in sports, but Michigan-Penn State is not too far behind. And this year, especially, is extra, extra juicy, extra interesting because of stuff going on off the field. So real quick at the line, Michigan, Penn State. Michigan's laying 4.5 on the road in Happy Valley. It actually opened with Penn State as a plus 5.5 dog. Lines come down. If we just look at quickly trends historically, this is a spot Michigan tends to dominate. Although Penn State has won a couple in the last few years, but we just look big picture. The last 20 times they've played, Michigan's 15-5 straight up, and they've covered 12 of those wins. So they've kind of been pretty trustworthy in this spot. And Coach James Franklin, Penn State head coach, he's been very, very good as a big home favorite, 20, 25, 30-point spreads. They cover those no problem. They beat up on the teams that they're supposed to beat. But when it comes to games like this, it tends to fall short. Against top 5 ranked teams, just 5-10 against the spread when he's the coach. So this is kind of a tricky spot. And I know Penn State fans hate to hear that, but that really is what it is. And then this year on top of that, you have the scandal going on off the field with the sign stealing scandal. And
yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty interesting, and there's two ways to look at it. Some people will say, well, all teams do that. They're just not as obvious about it, right? Like you have maybe your internal processes for understanding what the other team's going to run or identifying what they're trying to do. But on the Michigan side, you had just like one dude looking like, literally like staring at the sideline and then yelling to the defense like this is what they're doing. Is just very, very obvious. And it's turned into a full-blown scandal. So
now the decision should be coming down while they're on the plane.
Yeah.
Traveling to the game.
Yeah.
So do you think that any of that line movement is impacted by sort of the unknown of what they're going to hand down? Some people are talking about that this decision could actually have a direct impact on the game. Say Harbaugh is suspended for any number of games, whether it's 1, 3, 2 years, indefinite. They said that could take place effective immediately.
Yeah.
Which he wouldn't be able to coach the game.
It would be unprecedented. It would be crazy. The one thing so from a betting perspective, I would actually, if something like that happened, I would actually do the thing that nobody else would expect to do, and I would jump on Michigan. Because it's the classic, like, fading the news or fading the narrative kind of thing. It's like, whenever stuff like this comes up, I think back to last year, in the NBA playoffs last year, you had Game 1, 76ers Celtics, and Joel Embiid wasn't playing. And it was in Boston, and the 76ers were a plus 10-point dog. And they won the game outright. Then Joel Embiid comes back for Game 2, and they get blown out. So it's like, and those line swings affected by the news or the narrative, that's typically not like value. It's just the media impacting, and everyone thinks they know what's going to happen when really it doesn't. So like, let's say there's no Harbaugh for this game. Maybe the line drops a couple points. I think it would even make it more enticing to go jump on Michigan versus Penn State.
And it's not like Michigan is not preparing for the possibility of not having Harbaugh. They're not out there like, oh my God, what happened? He's not coaching this weekend. Like
exactly,
they've prepped. They put the game plan in to be carried out, whether Harbaugh is the coach or not. So
exactly,
I agree. You jump on that.
Yeah, they know what to do. And I think the last thing that I was going to say was the interesting thing was the defensive coordinator for Penn State. I don't know if you saw that, but Manny Diaz goes on social media and he makes that little post with the sign stealing thing where he's basically telling Penn State fans, like, be on time, be loud, and especially on third down. And it's like, what? They're 9-0, Michigan. They're ranked number 1 in the country. They've kind of played a little bit of a soft schedule, but they've got more talent than you. Like, why poke the bear is my thing. Move in silence, get the win. But to me, it's like, I don't want to do anything to stoke the fire. And I understand that they're competitors. They probably just think they can win the game. But if we always think, what's the first thing we always think about? Like, is there any data on this? History is not good on this, right? Like, very few times can you remember like giving your opponent bulletin board material and then you just go out there and crush them. Like, it usually doesn't happen. It's usually like that usually backfires on you. So I just thought that was interesting. But for me in this game, ultimately, with all the other stuff going on, I lean to Michigan State minus 4.5. You're even getting a point of value. It came down. I probably think they should be a 6 or 6.5 point favorite in this game. So I like the line for them.
All right. You heard it here.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
move on to a teaser.
Yeah, well,
we have the NFL slate.
Yeah, well, if you've checked out this slate, I don't know if you've noticed, but tons and tons of games sitting right around key numbers. Like, this is a super tricky week. Like, I don't know if you've looked at any of the games yet, or we have another international game in Germany, right? So we have that's the first one, and then a bunch of games they're sitting like around 1 point, 2 point spreads, 6, right around the key numbers of 3 and 7, and it kind of has that weird feeling like the public's been killing it all year long. This kind of has that weird feeling of a week where I think some dogs that you don't expect to win are going to win, and spreads are gonna come down to like the last drive and fall right on the key numbers. It just has that feel to this week. And if you look at it's a great teaser week. So as you guys know, teasers, obviously you want to do them Wong style, right? We talked about that before, where you tease through the key numbers of 3 and 7, and you got a bunch of
Wong.
games. So let's just quickly run through the games. Like Patriots in Germany against the Colts, they're plus 1.5. So right there, you can go up to 7.5. You get 3 and 7. The Cardinals are a home dog against the Falcons, plus 1.5. That's another teaser leg. The Raiders are a home dog against the Jets, plus 1.5. That's another teaser leg. And these are home dogs too. You can take a home dog to 7.5. You're golden. Although you weren't with the Panthers last week, but but then you got the Titans on the road at Tampa, plus 1.5 again, plus 1.5. The Vikings plus 2.5 at home against the Saints. And then you got the Bills on Monday Night Football. They're minus 7.5, but you can bring them down to minus 1.5 if you don't trust, or if you think they're going to bounce back and beat up on the Broncos. That's probably the leg, though, Bruce. I don't know about you, but out of all the ones I just named, the Bills is probably the leg that would scare me the most. Like taking down the favorite, even though I do think they'll win that game. But the Broncos already won a couple weeks ago as a 7-point dog against the Chiefs. So it's like,
Right.
to me, that's the one that I'd be a little bit careful with, because I think Denver's playing a bit better, especially offensively, and Buffalo's defense has been weak. They're playing better than people are giving them credit for, just because it's fun to just make fun of Russell Wilson and that team. But really, they haven't been that bad this year. So I'd be careful with that one. But I think my favorite combination of these, and you can give me yours if you have one, but my favorite combo is probably the Vikings from plus 2.5 to plus 8.5 at home against the Saints, because the Saints offense ain't really blowing out anybody. They beat the Bears by 7 last week. I think this is a close game either way. And then I love the Titans on the road at Tampa plus 1.5 to plus 7.5. Because I think the Bucks are a lot of fluff. I think their 3 wins they have are kind of fraudulent. So I think a Titans Vikings 6-point teaser is good money. I don't know about you.
Titans Vikings.
Yeah, Titans up to 7.5.
What do you think about the Cardinals getting up for the Kyler Murray return? Do you think that that's a letdown spot, or do you think that that's a spot that has some value?
No, we're going to get to this in the long shots of the week, but I think Arizona is a great spot this week. Yeah. A couple reasons. Number one, yes, Kyler Murray comes back. James Conner is supposed to come back too, I believe. Hopefully for my fantasy team.
I believe, as the fantasy owner of James Conner.
Hopefully he comes back. But that game is more of a fade of Atlanta. So people watch, like you thought last week they gave up 31 points to the Vikings at home. You thought that defense looked bad at home. Their defense has been much worse on the road, the Falcons. And the Cardinals, yes, they have 1 win on the year, but they were competitive in a lot of games up until now, right? And obviously last week, throw it away. It had no quarterback, right, playing against one of the best defenses in the NFL against the Browns. Just throw it away, right? But this week, with Kyler coming back, with James Conner maybe coming back, at home, you get a home dog against a team that has an offense that is, whenever the Falcons are favored, especially on the road, they have a hard time covering or even winning outright. So I do like Arizona as a teaser leg. I also just like them straight up in the game. I think they win that game. They get their 2nd win of the year. So anytime Atlanta is on the road, I would like to fade them. Yeah.
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 Anytime Arthur Smith is coaching Atlanta, I want to fade them.
I know you definitely do because of Bijan. I know that.
Took the chance. That's I think 2 out of 3 years I've taken a rookie running back in the first round trying to be cute. It was Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then Bijan Robinson. So I actually am I'm done with it. I'm going reliable only.
Yeah, go to the proven guys, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
I do like the Vikings to 8.5 here. I think they're going to stay competitive. I think the pressure that they're going to be able to generate is going to keep them in the game, especially when Derek Carr.
Yeah.
What do you have stats on Derek Carr against pressure this year?
I don't, but I know that historically he's not good, but I'm not sure about this season.
Yeah. That's my feeling on it too. That he's historically not great. Vikings, one of the most blitz happy teams in the NFL. also with a sack leader on the team. Is he still a
Yes,
sack leader?
I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he still is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hunter.
So I think we're going to see a lot of pressure from them. They're going to stay in the game. Hopefully, we see a lot of Taysom Hill for my fantasy team.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I do think that's probably going to be a close one.
And
So yeah,
I got to be just brutally honest, as Jets fans, the both of us, the Raiders plus 1.5 at home. That's a good teaser leg too. Because let's be honest, if the Jets win that game, what is it going to be, a 3-point win? They're not blowing anyone out with this offense.
No.
And the Raiders look like they have new life now under Antonio Pierce. So
the Raiders defense has been pretty good all year, despite the outcomes and some of those performances.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to generate pressure. Zach Wilson sucks. And so
no other way to say it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not going to get a lot out of them offensively. So
yeah.
You're right. That's going to be a nail biter if they do win.
Yeah, exactly. Which that makes it a good leg because you get the key numbers and you get it with a home dog. This is like, if that's another thing, home dogs, man. If you can get them up, they just tend to be really competitive. So, especially in the NFL. So if you can get them up, that's the way to go. So,
cool.
But yeah, definitely a great teaser week. Basically, that was the point I wanted to drive home. This is a great teaser week. So
give me your two teasers.
Definitely, we're going to be playing Vikings Titans for sure. I think the second one that I would look at is either, I haven't decided yet, but either Cardinals Raiders, or I may take this to Monday Night Football and look at the Bills. I don't want to. So here's the Germany game with the Colts and the Patriots. I know it sounds bad. I don't want to touch international favorites. That's a huge trend. They do really well. So I don't want to touch that game, even though I think the Patriots could definitely win that game. But I don't want to touch the Germany game. So I think Vikings Titans is my favorite combination, and we might have a Cardinals Raiders going.
Ooh.
Because again, those are two home dogs, man. Against teams in Atlanta and New York that don't blow teams out. So,
but Jeff,
but what?
Call of Duty just came out.
I forgot about that.
Call of Duty just came out.
All right, fine. We're going Raiders Bills. Fine, forget it.
All right.
That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah. But I've been hearing that the new Call of Duty sucks. So maybe Kyler is off it. Maybe he's just not into it.
He's like, year. Fine, I'll watch some film.
Yeah, 200 gigabyte download. People are complaining about multiplayer. Maybe he doesn't like it. We're gonna have to get his opinion on it.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. But that's that. You know what? That's a good point though. Maybe hold off on the Cardinals just because you never know. You never know.
Get 1 week of Kyler.
Yeah, exactly.
And then let's see.
Give him a few days to realize the game sucks. Like he might be into it at first and be like, that's not.
That's true.
There's no replay value here.
No, he's gonna prestige one time and he's gonna be like, I'm bored, guys. I'm bored.
Oh man. So before we get to the long shots, why don't we dive into 295, which is honestly it looks like on pay. I mean, if all these fights go, this is an awesome card, an awesome pay-per-view.
Awesome card. We got Alex Bahia and Yuri now in the main event, taking over for John Jones and Stipe. Obviously, we all know John Jones out with an injury, so that sort of changes the headliner.
Yeah.
But the co-main is now Sergey Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall fighting for the interim heavyweight title, which is basically the heavyweight title because I think those are the two best fighters in the division at this point. We did not do well last week. We had some extenuating circumstances with folks bowing out at the last minute. We had folks missing weight. And so some of our favorite picks last week were not able to compete, but we have some fighters that we cap really well this weekend. So I'm really excited about that. Awesome. The first fight that I want to talk about is the co-main event of the evening. And it is Sergey Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall. I think two of the best fighters in the heavyweight division. They have some of the lowest fight time in UFC history. I think they're only separated by like 3 seconds. I think it's like 2 minutes and 29 seconds and 2 minutes and 32 seconds. These folks do not take long to get the job done. And most of their fights, I think almost all of their fights in the UFC have ended in a finish.
Ooh,
So,
wow. They're gonna be
right.
swinging for the
So, but we
fences
have,
early. Yeah.
yeah, please don't pick the under. Or pick the
No,
under. I
pick
don't
the
know.
under. Yeah.
Yeah, the under -1.5 is
Yeah.
like -200.
Wow.
So Vegas believes that this is going to get done before the halfway mark of the second round.
Yeah.
The spot that I want to look at here, though, is how quick they finish and how they match up on the feet. So the spot that I'm looking at here is Sergey's reach advantage and his striking accuracy over Tom Aspinall. I think this is going to be on the feet. Aspinall is really well rounded, but Sergey Pavlovich is a decorated Greco-Roman wrestler, which means that those body locks, those drags are not going to work on him, in my opinion. He does very well staying on his feet. The only time that I've seen him hit the floor is when he's getting tie tripped, where he's getting tripped against a cage. That's not something that I see in Aspinall's repertoire right now. So I think this is going to be very much on the feet.
Gotcha.
Sergey has a 6 to 7 inch reach advantage in this fight, and he has deadly accuracy. So if we look at the historic numbers of people with that reach advantage, they win the fight about 60% of the time.
Yeah.
With 11% ROI on your bets. And if we just shrink that down to the heavyweight division, we're looking at 67% win percentage there and a 35% ROI.
Crazy. Insane.
So, yeah. And you pair that with the actual film breakdown. It's like Sergey is deadly. He's accurate with his punches, and he has insane power in his hands.
Yeah.
Aspinall, although he got sort of the writing on the wall that John Jones was going to miss this fight, he is the late replacement.
Yeah.
Right? Sergey was going to be the weigh-in backup for this fight. Tom Aspinall was not. Tom Aspinall got the call after John Jones bowed out. So he hasn't had a lot of time. He hasn't had a full camp. He looked good on the scale this morning, so I think he's in shape. But you know what we say, if you don't have a full camp, it's scary. Yeah. Right. We tried to buck that trend with Volkanovski, and we saw he got head kicked into the nether realm. Right. Like this stuff happens. So it's a pick 'em right now. Sergey Pavlovich is a small dog at -105 in this fight. And I think we are going with a heavy lean on the Sergey Pavlovich money line there.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's good stuff. And the interesting thing with the late replacement part of that you mentioned is like, yes, while we did try that with Volkanovski, it always comes down to the line, right? Like when we looked at late replacement numbers, we saw that there was value if you can get him as a big enough dog. But in this fight, having technically the late replacement guy basically a pick even favored in the fight is not that's not the spot that you want to fire on that angle, you know?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Overall, I think this is going to definitely not go more than 2 rounds. I think the 1.5 is a good line. They're going to respect each other's power for sure. But Sergey goes for it.
Yeah.
Like this fight is going to be exciting and scary.
Yeah.
And somebody is probably going to get knocked out. But I think it's
Can't
Aspinall.
wait. That's a great fight. Can't wait. And the other thing about reach too, at least if I'm thinking about this correctly, but the reach advantage, people just think about that offensively, but also in terms of your opponent, like defensively, in terms of defensive striking, when you have the reach advantage, you can be a little bit further back. It's a little bit harder for your opponent to get in on you. So I mean, it's like the numbers don't lie. The 35% ROI, it's insane for someone who has that kind of reach advantage. So
yeah. And we're not even excluding fights of like striker versus wrestler in there. That's just anybody who has more than 6 inches, right? And
crazy.
A lot of that times get nullified when you're doing a wrestling versus striker matchup. The reach doesn't mean as much if the wrestler is able to get inside and start grappling. But I think this is going to be a straight up striking fight. I think if Aspinall is going for the takedown, it's because he's not having success on the feet.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna take a lot of energy to get our boy Sergey down.
Sergey's been good to us. for the few times we bet on him, he's cashed for us as a dog a few times. So Sergey,
Killing
back to the well with
killing
Sergey.
people.
I like it.
All right, the next one.
And the main
Co-main.
event, Alex and Jiri.
Yeah, co-main. Main event. Alex Bahia versus Yuri Prohaska.
Amazing fight.
Striker versus striker.
Yes.
Now, this has a spot too. There's some spots to look at in here. You know, Alex Bahia, world-renowned kickboxer, former middleweight champion of the world, a natural light heavyweight. This guy is not going up and being a bloated light heavyweight. Yeah. This guy was cutting upwards of like 35 pounds to get down to middleweight. Insane. I don't know. I've never tried to cut 35 pounds, but I can imagine it feels like death. So I think his heck is going to be better. Yeah. He's also being coached by the guy who beat Yuri for 5 rounds before getting choked out. Right? Go. He's being coached by Glover Teixeira, who's already had a fight with Yuri, been in the cage with him for 5 rounds, had a winning game plan against him for most of that fight. Yeah. He's bringing that over to this Yuri fight with Alex Bahia. So if we're looking at it from a stylistic standpoint, Alex, money left hand, incredibly powerful. Yuri blocks everything with his face. Straight up. I don't know if you've watched any of these Yuri fights, but if you look back at Dominic Reyes,
the Reyes fight was the one that
look back at Volkan Oezdemir, Mr. Ivan Oezdemir, even against Glover Teixeira, he takes a lot of punishment. He has a great chin, but he takes a lot of shots. Yeah. And you are not going to be able to take the left hand of Alex Bahia over and over again in order to trade for your shots.
No.
I think that this is I think the line is crazy on this one. To say Alex was a slight dog before, I think at this point he's minus 125, so he's a slight favorite. It's basically a pick 'em. But you have a guy coming off a major shoulder surgery, literally, he put his shoulder in a lawnmower, it was destroyed. Oof. He has ring rust. He's never had good striking defense, and he's had 3 fights in the UFC.
Yeah,
and we're looking at this as a pick'em.
Yeah, crazy. Line should be much higher.
The line should be much higher on Alex. There's no value on taking Alex by knockout in this one. I think you're only getting probably I think you're getting plus 120 on this one if you take him by knockout. So I would take the money line.
Yeah.
I think Yuri's going to end up taking clean shots from Alex. And I think this is going to maybe look competitive in the first 1 to 2 rounds.
Yeah.
After that, I think we're going to see an Alex Bahia come on and finish Yuri Prohaska and become a 2-division title holder.
Crazy. Nuts. Yeah. I mean, there's to your point, there's only so many of those you can take. This is not the fight to be taking those left hooks to the face. Maybe after the first one, everything might still look okay. A couple more and it's a wrap. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not, his style is not conducive to fighting a guy with one punch knockout power like Alex Bahia.
Yeah.
He got rocked by Dom Reyes in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
He got rocked by Glover Teixeira. These guys do not hit as hard as Alex. Alex has the power to put your lights out in one shot. Yeah. You can't take those clean. And I think he's going to take them clean. And we're going to have a new champion.
Yes. Well, this is why we do what we do, baby. Find value on those lines. So yeah, definitely.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I think the line is too short, and that's good. That's going to be a really fun fight. That's going to be a really interesting. Both of those, that co-main and the main are 2 awesome fights.
And I talk so much shit on here that I'm going to be clenched the entire fight now.
All right, perfect. So that means we got to go TikTok, IG Reels. We got to make short and make sure everybody knows.
Yeah. Get it all out there. I'm talking my shit. These lines are too short this weekend.
Awesome. So Sergey and Alex bring us home. we should wrap up with our long shots of the week, baby. And I was thinking,
Yeah.
what if we need a, like, long shot of the week is all right. What about pocket change parlays? Something like,
I like that.
yeah, so we got to come up with a
Something-
clever name, you know?
Something to tell the people don't put a lot of money on this.
Exactly. Pocket change parlays, something like that. You know, something corny, classic, you know?
I like it.
We got to do the same thing with our nicknames too. We'll just go like super old timey nicknames, like you know, like call me like Beans McGee. Beans McGee here, and you and you're the something. Beans McGee and the like just something horrible.
Yeah. I'll put on my transatlantic fucking accent for the next one.
All right, cool. Long shots of the week. So should I go first?
Do it.
Pocket change parlay, or we guys will call it pocket change parlay of the week. All right, so mine's a 3-legger this week, just like last week. We missed by 1 leg last week with the Cowboys. The Chiefs won, the Bengals won, and then the Cowboys had about 14 chances in the red zone and threw every single one of them away. So this week, I have a plus 460 3-legger. All right, we talked about 2 of these games already. I love the Titans straight up, even money on the money line in Tampa to get a win. Like I said, I think the Bucs' first 3 wins were fluffy. They've come way back down to earth. I just don't think overall they're a very good football team. They're banged up on defense. Titans trending up with Will Levis, coming off of a loss, and Mike Vrabel as an underdog. Excellent statistics overall in his career. So you got pretty much everything lining up for you on this. I like the Titans straight up. So the first leg, Titans money line. The second leg is going to be the Cardinals money line. Even though you brought the Call of Duty thing up to me, I still like them. Kyler Murray coming back, James Conner coming back against, again, I don't trust Atlanta on the road. I don't care who the quarterback is, whether it's Heineke or Ritter. And I think the aggressive, and honestly, Gannon has not done a bad job coaching the Cardinals this year. He's been very aggressive, but you know, they're not a good team. Why not? Right? He's taking chances. He's going for it on 4th down. I think that's going to help them in this game in a spot at home. So I like the Cardinals straight up. They're around plus 105. So those are honestly the 2 dogs that I see a ton of value on. And once those hit, we finish off with an easy big favorite. The Seahawks straight up. They're around minus 250 against the Commanders. Throw that 3rd leg in there to take you home at the end of the night. And the cool thing about that too, or at the end of the night, they're a mid-afternoon game. But the cool thing about that too is if you get the Titans, you get the Cardinals, you can then do a little hedge with the Seahawks by taking Washington straight up. So you'll have like either Washington wins outright or you cash your parlay kind of thing. You could do that, but I'm more of just like a let it ride kind of guy. But Seahawks for the 3rd leg brings it to plus 460. So I got Titans money line, Cardinals money line, Seahawks money line, plus 460 for the long shot of the week.
Woo!
This one's going to hit. This pocket change parlay of the week is going to hit, baby.
All right. Let me adjust myself for this one. All right. Because last week, none of my legs won, and one of them didn't even fight. So this week, we're getting the revenge.
But you went the prop route with the subs.
I did.
That's tough. It's tough to call.
We're going all money line.
Yes, let's go.
All money lines.
Perfect.
This week. All right. And I'm not even going to explain them. It's Alex Bahia, it's Sergey Pavlovich, and it's Benoit Saint Denis. And I'll explain Benoit because we've been riding Benoit since he went from welterweight to lightweight at like plus 350, plus 200. There's certain guys that we know how to cap and we know are rising stars that the rest of the folks don't see, and we make money on them.
Yes.
We're never going to get this again from Benoit. Now he's minus 205. The news is out that the guy is an animal. He's gigantic. He can wrestle. He can strike, and you can't knock him out.
Yeah.
He's going to take down steamroller Matt Frivola, who's been on a tear lately, but it ends here.
Yeah.
You can rewind back in the rest of the episode if you want to know why I'm going on Pahea and Pavlovich.
Yes.
But that's it. Plus 425.
Love it.
And it's easy.
I love it. I love that. Yeah, and you're right. The market's catching up on Saint Denis, right? Like it's like I remember when you guys were playing on it, we was like minus 130, minus 140, and he was destroying dudes. I was like, what?
Yeah. We got him against Bonfim. We got him at like plus 300.
Insane. Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
One.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
we were like, Bonfim is like 5-7 on a good day. He's not going to be able to handle.
This is way off. Yeah.
Benoit Saint Denis. Here's a tip. You saw Benoit Saint Denis at welterweight. You get the break speed off of him at welterweight against an animal up there. Couldn't get knocked out though. Ended that fight, and then he drops down to 155. And you have to say, if he can take shots at 170 like that, who's gonna knock him out at 155?
Yeah,
not the dudes outside the top 15. Outside the top 15, that's for sure. Maybe when you get higher up, we'll get some spots where Benoit that may get a little dicey. But when you're fighting guys outside the top 15, they're not knocking out Benoit Saint Denis. Matt Frivola,
no chance.
I don't know. We'll see.
Got it, baby. All right, so that's 3. What was the odds on that, by the way? The 3 legs?
Plus 425.
Beautiful. I think we're cashing both of these this week.
I know I am.
I got to. You're like, I know mine. It's on you, man.
Yeah, I was like, you got to get the Cardinals to win. You know.
I'll look back at this and be like, what the fuck was I thinking?
What the fuck? Kyler has like one of the handheld PC consoles on the sideline. You think he's looking at the Microsoft tablet? He's on like a fucking.
He's playing Search and Destroy.
Yeah, on like an Asus.
Oh my god,
handheld PC.
Oh god, so, I hope not. I hope he locks in. But all right, cool. So that's my 3-legger. That's your 3-legger. That's all I got, man. How about you?
Same. I think
we're good.
Going to the weekend.
Kept it short and sweet this weekend. Weekend passes up for anyone who's still watching and interested. We brought back code month 50, Bruce. 50% off the first month. A bunch of people hopped on that. So that's up on all of our socials, up on the website, all that stuff. The season long football pass is discounted. We've got a ton of stuff going on right now. We're not like the cappers that are just like, hey, you either buy this sub or you don't. We got like tons of options, tons of discounts. We're always running promos, trying to keep everybody happy. And you messaged me earlier about. I saw the comments on social media about the merch. The merch store is coming. I'm gonna try my best to get it like up on the website this weekend. But if I don't have time with kids and everything in the weekend, Monday for sure it'll be up. But it'll be like shirts, hoodies, hats, basic stuff. And
listen, where's my hoodie?
I got it. First
hoodie?
of all, you gotta text me your size, and then once you text me your size, I'm gonna send you a box of everything.
All right.
So I just need your size in a shirt or hoodie, or if it's the same, just send it to me. Because I know you've been training and I don't know you probably don't even fit in like your old. What are you? Are you bulking up?
I'm an extra medium now.
Extra medium. Gotcha. Dope.
So
you will get a care package, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. All right. Thanks for watching. Until next week. Good luck with your bets. Good luck with everything. Let's cash these parlays. Let's have a good weekend. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
See ya.